Hello and good day, good morning, good afternoon, good everything. It's Tony here, and I'm so very excited to come to you. Wonderful, wonderful topic today with an amazing, amazing woman. My good friend Michelle is doing some amazing things in the space of helping people. I kind of like affectionately say like taking out our trash, kind of, I always have fun if I always, I'm an 8-year-old, so I always got to go, how can I have fun? So let's take out the trash. And so Michelle, I want to welcome you on, and it's so good to see you. This is a great subject for people, like a big one right now for people.
Yes, it really is. Thanks for having me, Tony. Excited.
Yeah. So I want to know your story. Like, how would somebody like you say, you know what? I've got to get into this space because I got to remove this clutter. I got to remove this stuff. How does somebody come to find out, this is something that I'm passionate about, that I want to share with the world? What happened to you?
Yeah, what happened was I had a lot of clutter. And so I needed to figure out how to downsize and simplify in my own life. And then eventually I realized that's what I need to help everyone else with, because it was so amazing when I did it for myself. And my journey started 20 years ago. I was essentially living a life for other people, going through life pretty early on, just checking off the boxes. And I got the degree and I got the corporate career, and I was in technology, which was not at all my calling. I did that for 20 years. Got married super young because that's what family kind of expected. Stayed in that a little too long. It was not a good marriage. It was very toxic. And I got to the point one day when I realized, I've been living my life for other people, and what does Michelle really want? And I had no idea how to answer that question. And all I had done was essentially added on all these layers of things that I thought I needed in my life, but it was really what other people thought I needed in my life. And all the expectations and all the toxic stuff, just everything had piled on. And I had turned to retail therapy. I was trying to fill voids in my life. I was not happy, and nothing was making me happy, not even all the shopping in the world. And I was a shopaholic in the process. So I figured that I just needed to downsize and simplify and start living life on my own terms. And that's what I did. I started planning my, I call it my exit strategy from that world of clutter. And I started planning that. And it took me about 2 years. I literally walked away from everything. I had the big house, the nice car, all the stuff, the marriage, the career, walked away from everything and went into a tiny little 1-bedroom apartment with no furniture because I had walked away from all of it. And I had nothing really. I just slept on the floor for the first year until I got myself together. And it took 2 years fully until I got back on my feet. And then that's when I decided I'm going to do this for other people, because I had no support during the whole process. My friends were too young. They couldn't help me, and they had no idea what I was going through. My family was not supportive. So I decided I'm going to be that support for other people who are going through similar things. I didn't know exactly what it was going to look like, but I knew that I had to be helpful in that way, in some capacity. So that's how it began. In 2004, my idea for Organized Life by Michelle began. And I really just started helping a few people who I knew, some friends and neighbors, and helping them with their downsizing journey. And, it was with a lot of physical clutter that we began, because that's the most tangible. But throughout the process, I uncovered a lot of underlying emotional and mental clutter as well that was associated with everything. And so today I take that holistic approach because everything is interconnected. We've got the emotional clutter and the mental clutter that eventually manifests itself into physical clutter as well, not just in our space, but into, our businesses and onto our computers, and we've got digital clutter, and the list goes on and on and on. So that's how I got started, and I never turned back after that. It's just been really amazing to impact people in this way, because it was a huge transformation for me. Yeah.
Your story is probably resonating with everybody that's watching this right now, because you created just an awareness of potentially how much clutter that we have in our lives. And I'm right now, I'm thinking of the show Hoarders. It's like, I watch the show Hoarders and I'm like, how do these people live like this? Like, they're hoarding onto all this stuff and they're not even aware of it. And then
Mhm.
the family comes in and they have this big intervention and they're trying to figure out, how did Aunt Mabe get like this, where she's collecting magazines from, from she was a child and not
Mhm.
taking out the trash. And, some people have so much clutter around them and they get comfortable in the clutter. They have no idea any other way. And I, and I,
Yes.
and I love the fact that you have attached clutter to like health issues and emotional issues,
Mhm.
trauma, and this whole idea of you becoming like a minimalist, like
Yes.
is so that term minimalist has kind of been flying around. Like last year was kind of people were selling their homes and buying RVs and doing
Mhm.
all that. Is that the same type of feeling that is what you're expressing, or is yours much deeper than just somebody, hey, I just want to go travel. I want to get rid of all the pressure. I just want to go do something. So yours sounds like it's a lot more deeper than that.
It's deeper, yeah. It's very freeing. You are freeing yourself of the physical clutter, but you're also in the process freeing yourself of all the emotional attachments that you might have, or
Mm.
the things that have occurred throughout your life that have led you to physical clutter. So for me, it was avoidance, right? So I was avoiding what was really happening in my life. And now when I see the signs in people I work with, I quickly go to some of the deeper questions to understand what really is going on in their life and what are they avoiding, because it's so easy to just turn to external things for comfort and avoid really what's happening at the core. And I like to get to the core and go deep and peel back those external layers to understand what's really happening, because once we get to that part of the problem, then we can start to release some of the pain or the attachment that's at that core, and then the rest of the stuff kind of starts to follow suit. It's like a domino effect. And yeah, I mean, health is attached to it, and mental and emotional well-being is attached to it. Some of the benefits that people experience after releasing themselves from some of this deep clutter is they're able to lose weight, they're able to sleep better, they have
Mm.
more energy, they are productive at work, they can focus more, and then ultimately their relationships are healthier too. So yes, it's very deep. And then in terms of the physical, you're freeing yourself of the physical belongings, so that if you love to travel like I do, that was always one of my core values, is being able to travel and have that time freedom to do so. So it was really freeing for me to be able to do that, and then really begin enjoying the things I would much rather be doing than shopping constantly.
Yeah, you're just like me. I'm a shopaholic too. So,
Yeah.
but I had stuff as a kid because as a kid, my mom would give us $100 each of us kids, and that $100 would have to get us the entire school year. So it was our shoes, it was our clothes, it was the stuff that we needed. And so we always had
Mhm.
lack. And so when money became present in my life, then it was like, okay, I'm gonna go back and remember, and I'm going to buy all these things,
Yeah.
thinking that was
Mhm.
filling a void of some sort. And the reality was, yeah, interesting. So I
Absolutely.
can see somebody using you, and as you're explaining, so remove the clutter, remove these things,
Mhm.
and people start clearing house, that they're actually doing like self-therapy on themselves. How much
Mhm.
guidance do you give when, let's say me, I'm holding on to this stone that is
Mhm.
attached to a memory of something that for whatever reason I'm holding on to. How much do you get involved with helping this person like release this attachment to this and to set it free so that they can, like you said, start to feel this weight being lifted off them? Are you
Mhm.
involved in that day-to-day stuff? Are you saying, here's what you need to do, and they do it? Or are you like in their business helping them? I call it their isness. Are you in
Mhm.
their isness?
Yeah, it varies from client to client. Yes,
Okay.
we can go pretty deep and help them release some of those attachments. And it really depends on how it's impacting their life. So if it is indeed impacting them, and we discover that that's perhaps one of the sources is that particular type of attachment, then we can go deep and work on it. But if it's not impacting their life, then it's just an object, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing, there's no story around it. There's nothing more than just an object. So we do need to dig a little deep to find out what's going on in a lot of cases. And so what I've done essentially is I've created this three-phased approach that I take people through. And I started this approach for myself, and then I realized this can be applied to anyone in their
Mm,
life, their business, any area of their life essentially. And it's the remove, realign, and restructure approach. So with remove, that's where we identify any area that's keeping someone stuck. So if
right.
it is impacting them indeed and keeping them stuck and they can't move forward or live their best life, then we need to look at it and peel back the layers to find out what's keeping them stuck. So once we identify that, that's the clutter that's keeping them stuck, then we can safely remove it. Then with the realign phase, we move into this space where now that we've got clarity after removing that clutter, we can get fully aligned with what's really important to you, your core values, your mission, your purpose, and your goals. And then you get focused, right? Then we move into the space of restructuring. And now that we've got focus, we can put a system or an action plan in place. So this is where the blueprint, the strategy comes into play. And a lot of times people are doing a lot of things, right? They've got a strategy, but it might not be giving them results.
Yeah.
And so we need to streamline it. But in order to do that, we need to go back to realign to see, are you fully focused on what's truly important to you? Are you just doing the things, right? Or are they things that are going to get you closer to your goal? And if we still don't have clarity there, then that's when we go back to remove. Well, there might still be some clutter. We need to remove some clutter and then get you focused and then make sure that the strategy that you've got, the action plan, essentially baby steps that you're taking every day, they're not just random steps, right? They're getting you closer to your goal. So that's really important to go through that entire process.
Yeah, I love it. And I see people just, bouncing back and forth, just, like
Mhm.
staying stuck, because they're, they just, when they feel that they're out, then something else presents itself. And so I'm sure a lot of things that they're having around them are attached to something else, which is attached to something else. And so you might have this big, long line of layers,
Yes.
so they've overcome one, but then here it is again, and here it is again.
Mhm.
And so they just spend a lot of time probably in that space, that realignment, and taking a look
Mhm.
at all that. It's beautiful. The best things that we teach, the best things that I teach, and most people that are in the space of assisting others on their path, it's because we went through it.
Mhm.
And I love the fact that you've gone through this. There's a lot of people that had an experience, and like they'll write an ebook about it or whatever like that, and that that's what it is. They try to make money, but like you're in it. Like
Mhm.
you're proof of the process, because you continue probably to do it even to this day. I'm
I
sure
do.
we're always in
Mhm.
those three phases, right? We're always taking a look at what's
Yes,
going on, which is so
absolutely.
beautiful.
Mhm.
So somebody comes to you and they're hesitant, because they don't see the clutter. They don't feel the clutter. How do you get into their space to help them identify that? Because a lot of people, as you know, that are in pain don't
Mhm.
even know what pleasure is. A lot of people
Mhm.
that are sick don't even know what it's like to be healthy. A lot of people that are emotionally have quit or committed to whatever belief system they have don't even know what it's like to be happy, or to
Mhm.
be free of that. So something happens, I go, all right, I'll call this Michelle person, whatever. She's the clutter person. She'll help me. How do you start that process without giving away your secrets, right? But
Mhm.
how would you like come in there, you know, guns a-blazing or open heart, whatever you do to help that person surrender to the process?
Mhm. Well, it starts with desire to change something. And
Yeah.
so typically when they come to me, they know that something's got to change. So what I look out for or listen for is things like, I'm really stuck. I need to get unstuck. I've had enough. Enough is enough. I'm done already, right? Something's got to change. And that makes the process a lot easier because it starts with their desire to make a change. Now, I have had on occasion people who've come to me and said, my mother, my sister, my neighbor, my best friend needs help. And I would say, well, it needs to really come from them, right?
Mm,
So the whole intervention thing, I don't do that. The person themselves needs to have the desire and realize they might not know what the problem is, but they realize that wherever they are in that space is not where they want to be.
yeah.
So they might not know what it looks like on the other side once they, remove themselves from that space. All they know is that this is not where I want to be. had enough and something's got to change. So really that's where it starts. It starts with their desire and their readiness, and then we get to work. It makes the process a lot easier that way.
Is there something, and again, not to give away all your beautiful, wonderful techniques and strategies, there's something that somebody that's watching this can do like right now? Like, is there something simple that I can go, you know what? All right, I probably got some stuff or some things or whatever around me that don't serve me, that I just for whatever reason is there something that I can do to start that process?
Yeah, I mean, the first question that I always ask people is, what are you trying to accomplish ultimately? Of course, this is, this sounds very broad, but everything goes back to what you're trying to accomplish in this world. And if you know what that is, everything that you have in your space, whether it's physical or, the people you have in your space or the work that you do, should line up with that. And if it doesn't, then I consider that unnecessary, right? So when I define clutter, it's essentially anything that doesn't align with who you are and doesn't serve you and get you closer to your goals, right? So from, an item, a physical item in our space, if it's not really something that we're using, it's not serving us to get us closer to a goal, right? If, let's say, one of our goals is to be happy, but we've got an item that we're not really using, but every day we look at it, it makes us happy. Well, it's serving a purpose, right? But if it's just sitting there and collecting dust and it doesn't make us happy and we're not using it, then it's clutter. So, and the same goes with people that we surround ourselves with, the things that we do, in our day-to-day, the tasks, the to-do list, the groups that we join on Facebook, right? So everything should be intentional and lead you closer to your goal. And if it doesn't, then that's clutter. So that's where I start, get a big picture, overview of what is it that you're trying to accomplish. And then we can kind of drill down to see if everything that you've got in your life that you've kind of laid out, is it serving you to get you closer to that goal? And then we work backwards from there.
Yeah, it's really interesting. As you're talking, I'm seeing people in my life, or people that have maybe come into my life and then have, left my life and, doing something else. And you can literally walk into their house or their office and see what's around them and just see kind of what's going on, without really, if you're observant, if you're like, you're in tune with that, if you walk into somebody's house and, the beds aren't made, or the dishes are in the sink, or, all that stuff. There's like this instant feeling, vibration. I'm all about frequencies, so there's this frequency that you go, wow, there's something uneven. There's something not right potentially, or something I'm not seeing or not aware of. So it's really interesting, because I have people in my life right now that I'm just thinking, these people that are having a challenge in their life, like challenges, like just, they're the ones that complain about money. They're the ones that say, my relationship, they're blaming, government, all these things for stuff. But then you look at their life and what's surrounding them, and they have the stuff. And it's just really interesting how this clutter conversation is so like, it's so, number one, it's so current, and it's so, the timing of this is so beautiful, because we've been in this space for the last year and whatever months, kind of confined in our clutter.
Yes.
We've been really confined in this place of clutterness, because we're not moving freely about the cabin anymore. Like, we're kind of stuck, and we have all of our things. And my room that I'm in, this is my my office. But like, for me, these are all the things that the second I open this door and I walk in, it's like the breath of fresh air. And I'm like, wow, and some people walk into their room and they can't even breathe.
Exactly.
And they've been not be able to breathe for so long, because, now when we go outside, we're wearing masks and things like that. So now they're really confined and really, cluttered.
Yes.
So the timing for what you're doing, Michelle, is just like, it's just beautiful.
Thank you.
I know that Goodwill and the local, we have a center down here that we donate a lot of clothes, stuff like that. I know these guys love me, because like, it seems like every week I'm going, when is the last time that I wore that? When's the last time I've used that? And so instead of putting things, which a lot of people, as you probably know, probably go put things in storage, you're saying maybe, if it doesn't fit, like, just to get rid of it. So give it away to the Goodwill, give it to something. Is that what you're doing then?
Yeah, anything that doesn't serve you,
Okay,
really.
yeah.
You've got to release it. If it's a physical item, find a new home for it. If it's an emotion that you're holding on to, once you identify what that is, then you can release it. It's so freeing. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what form or shape your clutter comes in. When you release clutter, because ultimately it's not really serving you, it's taking up space. When you release it, it's very freeing. And
Yeah.
what you're doing is you're freeing up that space, not just freeing up your energy, but you're freeing up that space to allow new things to come in, good things to come in, things that are actually going to serve you. So that's where it's really powerful.
Yeah, that whole idea of creating space, creating space, creating space, creating space, and
Hmm.
just like your computer, when your computer starts running slow, you start
Yeah.
getting you get mad at the computer. It's like, oh, this computer, I need to get a new one. Well, the reality is you just need to get rid of some of the clutter,
Mhm.
get the upgrade, get the program, get whatever that goes in and
Mhm.
removes the stuff that you don't need. And then it will
Exactly.
allow it to be more efficient, right? And we're no different. Humans are no different.
Absolutely. Yeah. The same way we're cluttering up our brain with so many things, so many thoughts, so many feelings, emotions, that don't serve us. And then we can't be efficient. We can't be happy. We don't have the energy we need. We don't have the focus we need. Our systems are the same way, right? So removing digital clutter is very similar.
Yeah.
If it's not serving you, if it's just sitting there, if you're not using it, if it's not helping you get closer to your goal of whatever that might be, then remove it, because it will bog down your system, just like we bog down our physical body system with the things we're holding on to that aren't serving us.
What is the final question here? What is the thing that's most satisfying about what you do? What is that thing?
It's so satisfying to see people really just regain time freedom, because that is one of the most precious resources. Is we can't buy time. Everyone has a limited amount of time. We all have the same amount of time
Mm.
in a day. And so when I'm able to show people how to really do things efficiently and release all that clutter that's not serving them, they actually get time back. That is so satisfying, because what I'm doing is I'm giving them something that they can't get anywhere else.
Mm.
They really can't. You can't buy it. You can't borrow it. You're actually reclaiming precious time. It's such a precious resource. And that is truly satisfying that I'm able to do that and give that back to people.
And you can't store it somewhere in a box on your shelf that you have to look at.
Right.
That is so big what you said, because out of respect for time, the thing I hold the most sacred is that respect for time, because we don't know. We don't know how much time we have, and especially now in today's climate, we don't know how much time we have. And so to be able to honor time like that, to free up space so you can
Hmm.
start enjoying the moment,
Exactly.
without all the clutter, is just huge.
Hmm.
I'm going to put you guys, please follow Michelle. Please, 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 please go follow her. She's always dropping nuggets. She's always sharing her wisdom and her guidance. And she's one of those people that found her purpose and loves to do what she does. And if you're somebody that's looking to free up um, some space, which we all should be doing right now, we should all be clearing house right now. We should all be just going like, do I need this? Do I really have that? And start giving it
Hmm.
away with love and freeing up space so we can enjoy life. So
Yes.
I
Physical
appreciate you.
health as well as emotional health and mental health. We need to
Uh,
clear all the houses.
it is so liberating though. Like, and the feeling like taking that thing, whatever that thing is in a box, and taking it
Hmm.
to a place like the Goodwill, or take it to a friend,
Hmm.
oh, I love your stuff. If you ever get rid of that, let me know. Like, oh yeah, I'm bringing it to you now. Like that feeling is just so beautiful too, which creates even more space, because now you're doing it with your own free will and your own free love, and you're letting go, and somebody else is receiving that, and they're going, thank you, and they're loving
Hmm.
it. So it's just this beautiful exchange,
It is.
when you're doing the work that you do.
It really is. It's beautiful. Yeah. And, anyone who's interested in this work, I've got a free Facebook community, and that's really where I offer a lot of tips and content around, how to release clutter. I'd be happy to share that link as well. And ultimately, people who are really ready to do this work, and, it's it's emotional work. It's an emotional process. And I understand that it's hard to take that first step. It certainly was for me. It took me a while. But anyone who's ready to do that work, I'd be happy to talk to them more. And, feel free to schedule a call with me. We can chat. I've created a wonderful mentorship program to allow people through this process. It's called Declutter Your Life from the Inside Out, where I just present my life's work and really help people and support them through this process.
I love it. Thank you, Michelle. I am excited for
Thank
all the
you.
work that you do, and I know it's so needed right now. And I appreciate you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Tony. I
All
appreciate
right,
it.
everyone. You know what? Here's how we get from, I always talk about it, our current life to our desired life. And one of the things we have to do is we have to realize there are things we have to add and things we have to remove to do that. And what Michelle just said to you is massive. So we got to take out the clutter, take out the trash, and create space. Thank you guys. Have a
Yes.
beautiful morning, day, afternoon, wherever you are, and share this with people. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Tony. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.